Wait a minute. I don't eat this crap. That is much better. Welcome to my first episode of Carnivore Gains, and welcome to my first intentional pre-workout meal in quite a long time. It's not that refined crap I showed you before. It is carnivore cereal, which is actually just unsalted pigskin with a little bit of yogurt and some ghee for extra flavor. It's crazy and delicious. You should definitely give it a try. Or don't, actually. Pork fat is an omega-6 bomb, not very optimal. Mm. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't delicious, though. You might have to try it for yourself to believe me. But it's got that nice crunch factor that you're missing on the diet, and it's actually a perfect flavor balance. Look, I'll be the first one to say it's not a very optimal meal, obviously. I mean, farmed pork skin, not very good. But it just seemed appropriate given that I'm doing a gym vlog to kind of imitate cereal, and also given that the whole point of this video is about building muscle and eating more. It seemed pretty appropriate to start with the least satiating carnivore food in the world. So here you go. Normally, I would like to train in a fasted state, so I wouldn't eat anything, sometimes for hours after waking as well, but I don't know, I don't think it's very good for my muscle or strength gain. I find that because I undereat and because I'm quite low body fat as well, the gluconeogenesis can be very stressful and very catabolic. That's actually why I've lost so much strength and mass since going carnivore, that we are here today to correct that actually. My main concern is actually the digestion of this meal kind of interfering with the energy from the workout, but that's okay. I'm gonna give myself at least an hour to digest before I go to the gym. I have plenty of time anyway. It's nearly 8 o'clock and already got 4K steps in, so not too bad. That's not actually a flexor, sadly. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. because of high cortisol and decided just to get up early because there's no point in laying in bed when you're not going to fall back asleep. So I got a little head start on the day, went for a morning walk, which was quite weird because the sun hadn't even come out yet, which kind of defeats the purpose of a morning walk. So also got a little bit of red light therapy in for that infrared light. I will get some real sunlight soon because I'm sitting in the artificial blue light right now for the lighting, which is not ideal. But anyway, we'll finish this off and head to the gym. Gonna do a push day today. So lately I've been doing push-pull legs, and then I'll do sometimes chest and back and shoulders and arms day, Friday, Saturday, or whatever. But I don't know, sometimes I'll also do full body. It really depends my recovery. Sometimes I'll just do 3 workouts a week, sometimes 5. I'm still going consistently though, and I'm getting those steps in every day as well. So I like to play around with things. Today's push though, so I'm gonna need some strength. Gonna go for a little PR on the incline press, and when I say PR, I mean probably less weight than I was doing this time last year, but that's right. It's Carni Gains. We're gonna make those gains back. I'll see you guys at the gym. My gym philosophy is pretty much low volume training with emphasis on compound movements, so I'll do around 1 to 2 sets for most exercises, and then sometimes 3 for the smaller isolated ones. And I'm a big fan of training to failure, but sometimes I do go a little too far and damage my joints, which obviously isn't ideal. No workout would be complete without a pose, of course. And I'm really happy with the pump and the vascularity, and I gotta make sure that when I do put on a little more mass, that it doesn't take away from the leanness that I have now, because that is the main thing that I work out for. I can't imagine this will happen though, because I have good glucose sensitivity, and the foods that I prioritize and my meal frequency kind of make it hard to gain weight if anything. The glycogen depleted pump never lasts that long, does it? But that's all good. We are back from what was a pretty decent but also kind of low strength workout. There's no reason for me to be getting sick with my diet and lifestyle, but unfortunately I do sleep pretty bad a lot of the time, and I had like 5 particularly bad sleeps in a row last week, so ended up with a slightly congested lymph node, I believe, so it's hurting when I turn my head and neck and everything, and definitely made it a little hard to do the bench exercises. I was getting quite a sore neck, and I think I lost a little bit of strength there, but that's okay. Thankfully, the Asian supermarket was open, and I got some canned quail eggs. These things are going to rescue me. Now, I'm not normally a fan of canned food, obviously, but figured why not, especially if we pair them with some butter for a nice little post-workout snack. Mm. Don't know if you can see it, but the yolk stayed pretty creamy actually, and it's got like a real nutty kind of flavor. I like that. Now I'm aware that this isn't like a super optimal post-workout meal that'll come later. This is literally just a little protein and fat-dense snack to stop my muscles from catabolizing themselves while I wait for my massive OMAD meal later, which is going to be very good. Now I know that fasting kind of goes against the point of this video, which is of course for me to break this body dysmorphia-induced cycle of my kind of 2.5 year caloric deficit, if you will. That's really ruined my metabolism and, lost a lot of muscle mass, obviously. That's okay though, because rebuilding muscle is genuinely a lot easier to do than gaining it from scratch the first time. And I do think that carnivore is really a great diet for this, and body recomp's gaining muscle because you got this highly bioavailable animal protein, which is obviously used for muscle repair. Then you pair that with a saturated fat, which improves your hormonal status. And yeah, the gains come pretty quickly. And that's why this video is a little more eating focused than gym, and this whole series probably will be, because I believe that your physique's really made in the kitchen, and you don't have to follow carnivore. I'm not even pushing that too greatly as like a muscle building diet. You just need to lift heavy weights and eat more food in general, more mass, and you will make gains. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. But that being said, though, I do need to work through this kind of mental barrier that I have that's sort of stopping me from trusting my satiety signals, and I need to trust that when I do eat a large meal and a large fatty meal like on carnivore, it's not going to turn into body fat. It's not going to make me too bloated. I'm not going to overeat. My satiety signals are going to stop me from overeating. And there's definitely certain foods that work better for that than others, which is why I try to eat in a certain way that I do. But as I found out, sometimes you can go a little too far, and the line between satiety and unpalatability are just straight up blurred, or appetite suppression, I should say. There is a chance that when I do start eating more, I might gain a bit of body fat, and that'll be my body telling me that it needs to have a high level of body fat to optimize my hormones, to produce the things that are going to help me heal myself. And that's okay. I don't think it'll come to that because I'm very good at staying super lean, and obviously lean maxing if I have to. I do work in an industry where it's good to have a kind of, Greek god type physique. Not saying I do, but that kind of hyper low body fat, which may not actually be that healthy, but definitely looks very optimal. Anyway, these quail eggs are awesome. Go out, find some. Maybe not canned, I don't know, up to you. I'm not a huge fan of canned goods typically, but these were delicious, and this butter is addictive as always. So that's enough rambling for me. I will see you at dinner. And here we go. This is that perfect anabolic meal I was talking about. The reason this is such a perfect post-workout meal is that on ketogenic diets, you're relying on the huge surplus of protein to raise your blood sugars enough to bump you out of ketosis and signal for that anabolic growth and repair phase that comes with an insulin spike. And a lot of people say, so why not just include carbs, because that spikes your insulin super quickly? And that's a good question. Maybe I will. Maybe by the next Carni Gains episodes, I may have slightly different array of foods here. My diet is going to change a little bit soon. Nothing too crazy. I'll still be carnivore. But I'll save the specifics for a nuanced video that I have coming out in a few weeks. But the one thing I will let you in on is I have no salt on this meal. So this is all unsalted. It's a thing I'm doing at the moment. I've definitely been obsessing over my sodium to potassium ratio lately. I kind of decided, the whole carnivore diet and light environment thing, it's not orthorexic enough. I need to be looks maxing too. Anyway, enough talking. Let me take you through the meal. So we have some pork spare ribs, a rare beef patty, some unsalted butter and eggs, raw fish, and some rare liver. I did decide to cook the liver a little bit because it's from the supermarket and I'm a little less trusting than I used to be, especially with new sources. Now the great thing about this full day of eating for making gains is that I'm using the whole OMAD meal and protein surplus to get in that anabolic state, but I had the two other smaller strategic meals to stop me from undereating, because I don't know if I could eat enough from a whole OMAD meal personally, especially if it's just animal foods. It's the most satiating foods on the planet, so it really is hard to eat enough of that. And anyway, those smaller meals help stop the catabolism that normally comes when I fast. And also, there's just so much amino acid diversity, because obviously getting your protein, that's one thing, but you want to balance the methionine with the glycine, and then you want to be making sure you're getting enough leucine to actually build muscle and activate muscle protein synthesis. So it gets a little complicated. I talk a lot about different foods being optimal for different things, but at the end of the day, you do really need to enjoy your food, and sometimes I don't stress that enough. I also want to make it clear that this is not really a typical day of eating for me. Like I bought the pork and the pig skin for this video specifically, and also another video about collagen that I'm making. And yeah, ideally there would be a lot more high quality red meat and raw meat too, but I am on quite a strict budget at the moment as well, so got to be cheap, unfortunately. If you want to see me eat better foods, then go join my school community, make me some more money. Anyway, I'm going to go enjoy every bite of this off camera, because if I can't be eating outside in the sun, then I do like to be watching a movie. That's kind of just my habit. And tonight I'm going to watch One Spoon of Chocolate by RZA, so real hype for that. Not that calories really matter or anything, but here's a little macro breakdown on the screen. You can see that I ate a pretty good amount of food. Chronometer's telling me it's not quite there with the calories, but I don't care about that. Definitely a very high amount of protein, maybe a little too much if anything, but at least I got a ton of fat into, so pretty optimal. No, I'm not worried about the 10 grams of carbs either. I'd actually kind of prefer if it was 30, and you'll hear more about this soon. God, I can feel the gains coming on already though. Not even going to be fitting in the frame come episode 2. I do hope that you enjoyed this kind of content though, because I do want to be making one of these vlogs per month to help keep me accountable and on track to building more muscle. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching and stay nuanced. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.